Hello everyone! Welcome to the first ever official live stream of It Came From dun 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 the Backlog. I am your host, Elijah Beahm, otherwise known as the Unabridged Gamer, and today I am joined by the illustrious, the magnificent, the fully bearded James Kosur. Hello everyone!
Hey everybody, how's it going?
Welcome to the first ever official live stream of It Came. YouTube started to play a little bit of audio there, so apologies if anyone hears any echo of me. That has now been rectified. But alright, so the first game on our to-do list is Dead Estate. And while we get that started, James, tell us a little about yourself.
Yeah, so I'm the founder of BossLevelGamer. Actually just started it late last year. I'm a pretty casual gamer. I play a lot of games, but very casually, nothing competitively, even among friends. I spend a lot of time playing with my kids. So I've got 4, 7, and 10-year-olds at home, and so they put me to shame. My 7-year-old beat like half of God of War in like 15 hours, and I'm like struggling through it like 8 hours later and still like 10% as far as he is. So I get shown up a lot by my children. They're definitely the more hardcore gamers in the family.
Well, there you go. If you ever hit any kind of issue when like you're reviewing something, you just be like, hey kids, can you hop in here? Kill all these things for dad.
It's funny because I see all those memes where they're like, hand dad the controller, he beats the level, hand big brother the controller, he beats the level. And in my case, it's like, hand my 7-year-old so he can beat the level.
If it makes you feel... Sorry?
No, go ahead.
It's just like I was going to say, if it makes you feel any better, it was actually kind of a similar deal with my dad back in the day with like Rogue Squadron in that, because he hated anytime an AT-AT came on screen.
It's some games I'm great with. I was never really a Destiny player. One of my friends really wanted me to play 5 or 6 months ago, and I like pretty much maxed out my character in like a month and a half. I think I did play like 350 hours of Destiny in like a month and a half. And then I took a backseat when I realized their DLCs were going to cost $100 a piece.
Yeah, I remember that on launch day with the first one. That was an oof.
So, tell us a little bit about Dead Estate, what you like about it.
So this one I got to try back during the one Steam festival, and it's it has the very traditional twin stick shooter style going on, but it has some almost CX Spectrum kind of design to it. It uses that isometric aesthetic to it and everything, and it also has like proper platforming and stuff like that going on. And the framing of it using a lot of the tropes and ideas of Resident Evil is incredibly interesting, because usually you see someone just trying to copy like Binding of Isaac or whatever, but instead this leans a lot more on J-horror, but the more knowingly self-aware stuff like House of the Dead and Resident Evil. And it leads to this really satisfying presentation where it still very much fits what you expect it to be, but it does it very well, and it has like this charmingly fresh angle to it that you don't often see. They even lean into the whole Chris and Jill. I don't know if you've played Resident Evil 1, but like Chris and Jill have completely different starting equipment, and the same thing goes for the trucker and the student who you can play as. And there's a couple other characters you can also unlock to play as, and they all get different starting equipment with different stats.
It's funny you called it charming, because when I was watching the preview videos, when you said you wanted this to be the lead-off video, the first thing I thought was it's kind of an adorable Resident Evil.
Yeah.
And I mean, it is. But I like, we recently did a list on the best isometric games that people should be playing right now. And then, we've looked at like some of more of the horror-based games, and combining those, I think combining those type of genres into really accessible games for players right now is a big plus.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's it. Like, it definitely feels like a horror game. Like, you can see a lot of stuff going on. It's not gonna like scare you in the traditional sense. It's not Silent Hill, but you can feel the tension. Like, I can see, I've already lost a hit point on this run here. Jules does not have a lot that she can endure, so I'm still feeling the blood pumping. I'm just like, need to be very careful here. Plus, even her shotgun, it kicks ass, but it has such a short range to it that, you really gotta get in close. Oh!
What's the total average playthrough time on this?
I'm not actually...
Or what's yours?
Oh, well, for me, I was actually saving on playing the finished version specifically for this stream, so I have not seen how far, you have to go. Oh, yeah, there's also different merchants and stuff that you can talk to. And I do not have any money for healthcare. Wow, it's just like real life. But, okay, let's see here.
And for anybody interested, too, they have a demo available on Steam, and the actual game itself is only $14.99. So, nice, cheap, accessible game for anybody who out there wants to try it.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and I fully endorse the demo because, like, it gives you a really good perspective of everything. If I recall correctly, yeah, there's even, like, there's an equivalent to Resident Evil 3's Nemesis that can hunt you down, and if I recall correctly in the demo, he actually would show up earlier than normal to just, like, chase you around in
nice.
that.
I like a good competent demo. I'm very, I'm one of those people who spend $40 on a game without looking at any reviews because it's normally $59.99, and then I just let it sit there for a year. You know, some of those are warranted. Like, you know, buy Cyberpunk and realize that it's just unplayable. And I'm playing on, you know, 5900X with a 3070 Ti. It was still unplayable, so it'll sit there for 6 months. But other games, like Guardians of the Galaxy, I still haven't loaded it up just because of time constraints.
It is a good one, though.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it. My son's a huge Avengers fan. The game, even, you know, it's not a great game, but
I approve of this. I love that one. I've actually maxed out a couple characters in that.
He's starting to, but he will probably get to Guardians of the Galaxy before me, which means that I'm just kind of stuck waiting for him to beat it, which is like God of War. He just took over. We're both playing, but like he uses my computer for it, even though he has a gaming PC because mine's just better. So I'm always out of luck in that sense. You're playing KBM right now?
Yes. Yep. Keyboard and mouse. I've got one of the. I finally learned the benefit of thumb buttons, so I actually am using Razer. Oh, wow.
You know, I have a cheap. I'm actually a big fan of good gaming mice, but I use a Corsair Harpoon, which is a super cheap gaming mouse, but it's the most comfortable in my hand. There's nothing special about it. It has the button that I had to change all the DPI to 800, otherwise I'd hit it and then I would all of a sudden couldn't figure out why I couldn't control my characters. I'm a complete klutz that's why I can't have like 12 buttons on the side. I don't know how professional gamers do that, because if I have 12 buttons on the side of my mouse, I hit them every single time I move the mouse.
Oh yeah, no, I can't do the whole 2 buttons is plenty, because it's like, okay, this is like, coincidentally, Avengers was one of the ones that made me do that. It's like, okay, I can have dodge be my thumb. I can work with this. This clicks, but yeah, there's some stuff. Ooh, we just entered a boss room. I think this is gonna be the Mega Jelly. Yep.
Mega Jelly doesn't want to come out and play.
I always knew it would be the raspberries. Ooh, you're out of...
Like the blob from the movie Blob.
Yeah, very much so. Oh, dear. Get away from the health. I need the health. Ooh, we got an achievement. Kill 6 enemies with less than a second between each kill. Oh yeah, there's also sometimes you have to leap over hazards and such.
Where would you put this game in terms of difficulty and getting in? So, like, I have a lot of friends who are really starting to get into Souls-like, who are really starting to get into isometric, and I recommended Hades to a few of them, and I'm surprised we're still friends, because that was, like, their introduction into to any game like that? Where would you put this on the level of just like as far as difficulty, bringing new gamers in, things of that nature?
If you're completely new to games, I would say it might be a little bit intimidating at first because of the roguelike nature, and I know that there's certain people who are like, ooh, roguelikes, those kill you. Oh, there's Nemesis. Yep, there's Nemesis. Oh boy, I need the health. But we gotta run. We gotta get to that elevator quick. Oh, I don't have enough health. Okay.
Even the map in this game is kind of adorable.
Oh yeah, Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say it reminds me of Qbert. that shows my age a little bit there. Just those little flashing blocks, but it's very simplistic and easy to follow, which is nice, especially when you're playing in such a small viewing area for it. I did notice the rooms are very, I almost want to say claustrophobic.
Oh yeah, yeah.
In a good way.
Oh yeah, it's like if you wanted to like get like the easily the most responsive attempt to homage to like classic Resident Evil, this is a really good example. Like you're not fighting with tank controls, even though you still actually basically are moving like a tank, but it has that same sort of up close tension, needing to make quick decisions and all that kind of stuff. If you wanted something that was a little bit more action horror-y, this is not a bad option.
No, not at all. I feel like that like I said, the claustrophobic, the very squared off rooms is a really good way to be introduced to this type of game too, because like if you play like a Hades or you play really any of the roguelikes or any of the games where you're running around sometimes large rooms, you're trying to get a handle on the gameplay, there's a lot going on to just kind of settle in and play, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, yeah. You're juggling so many things. Whoa.
What are you battle? Oh, I see it.
Yeah, there's actually a hazard that's hitting them too, which is just great because they keep trying to get closer to me and then getting themselves in their own mace. Ooh. Okay. But yeah, I think the only thing I could possibly think of that might be more appealing to players. There's a rubber duck. Do we go with the rubber duck?
I want to see what the rubber duck does.
I do too. Okay, we have a rubber ducky. Holy. Okay, rubber ducky is essentially a magnum.
Perfect. If there's one thing in any game, I will always pick the dumbest sounding looking weapon that I can.
Oh, that actually then I have to wonder, have you ever played Death Spank?
No, I haven't.
Oh, it's like, imagine if essentially Double Fine made Diablo and like every single weapon is made to be some kind of pun or something.
Wow, that one's been out for a while too. Okay, I might have to go back and check that out.
Oh yeah, I remember playing it on the PS3. It's been a while, but it actually got 2 sequels, and
it got really good reviews.
Yep. You even have a boss fight against essentially Martha Stewart and Santa Claus.
Beautiful. I'm looking, and Death Spank, there it is, and it is on.
Whoa!
Only $14.99. I feel like that's a theme now for all the games you're playing. They're on Steam and they're $14.99. I know it's a good price point for games that have been around for a bit. So.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
I don't know. Did you see Steam just announced that they're limiting discounts?
Oh yeah, I did see that.
Yeah, so essentially there's just been too much predatory attempts to get people to buy games, right? The games get put up for $89, $59, and then like, oh, now you can get it for 75% off when it should have been 75% off to begin with. And I saw, it was funny, right after I saw that, it was just yesterday or the day before, I think we covered it, I went on Steam, and right after I saw that, Activision was like, buy the ultimate Activision bundle for $749 or something like that. It was a massive amount of games, but I'm just like, it's really funny that I went from, you know, predatory lending on Steam, and then the second I went on to Steam, there's this like almost $1,000 Activision bundle.
Yeah, that's one thing I'm really curious about with the Activision Blizzard acquisition by Microsoft. It's just like, are we actually going to see a Call of Duty game be discounted to maybe, finally, less than $20? Because I'd love to get more people to play Black Ops 3. I hate that they have to pay like $30 minimum.
Yeah, I'm just hoping that Microsoft, stops trying to push zombies on us every 4 seconds. I'll do with that as just my main go-to at this point.
Oh no,
but no, I agree. I think they're gonna muscle a lot of extra interest. I think we're gonna see a lot more out of Xbox Game Pass, which makes sense, and PlayStation needs to get in on some PlayStation Pass action of some sort for us.
Yeah, isn't there a thing like Codename Spartan or something like that?
Yeah, and that's, Microsoft, I think even Phil Spector, like, he actually came out and said he welcomed the competition, which I really think is just code word for, hey, we want them to do this so we're not the only ones, and then we don't look like a giant monopoly over this part of the industry. I mean, let's be honest. Like, if they're the only ones doing it and people are flocking to it, and I have Ultimate Game Pass. It's $15 a month, and I love it. And there's definitely things they can fix. Like the cloud computing doesn't work at all, and I really wish I could. I was even trying to play Hades in it to show my son. I keep going back to that game because I was just playing it with him, and it wouldn't even stream Hades properly in the cloud. Like, I'm not going to go in there and try to play, a Cyberpunk type game or an Elden Ring type game in the cloud at any point. But there has to be a replacement for Stadia at some point because that just doesn't work either.
Ooh, I wish we could get the med kit. Full heal at the start of each floor. Oh, okay. Ambrosia. Full heal. From what I understand, you actually can eventually play as the witch. She's kind of basically... Do you remember the game Bullet Witch?
Yes.
Yeah, she's basically that as I understand it.
Huh. Interesting.
Alright, so, and in circling back to getting to know you, sir, so, what led you to the games industry and the games press side of things?
Yeah, like I said, I've always been a casual gamer, and when I first started looking at... So I've been in publishing, first of all, let me circle back a little bit. I've been in the publishing industry for going on 20 years now. I've managed close to 250 billion page views across about 60 different publications. So I've been doing this for a really long time. And I started gaming with some friends. Right, again, I gamed for a long time. I stopped for a while because I had kids, life got in the way. And the pandemic hit, and I started working from home more, and got my new PC, went back, started gaming again, just casually. And then, when we really got into the thick of things and I had some time, I was spending 30, 40 hours a week gaming again. And the more I went on to a lot of websites and started looking at gaming articles in the industry in general, I realized that there was a lot of top 10 lists. There was a lot of 5 best of something, and I wanted to create something that's a little more all-inclusive. I think the best example for anybody watching now is your Star Wars list, which, if anybody hasn't seen this, we have a list. It's now 115. It was 114 at first. 115 Star Wars games ranked that Elijah spent over a week working on, and it's an excellent list. But I really liked it. I understand why websites stop at 10 or 20. It gets expensive to have people create these lists of 30, 40, 50, 60 games. But, I think that's important. If we're looking at, isometric games or roguelikes, or we're looking at, the best, horror games or best horror VR or whatever the case is, I don't mind ranking out 60 items. I want a list that if somebody goes through and maybe they are a casual gamer like me, or maybe they're a serious gamer and they just want to see what's missing from their own list, they can look through and say, no, that sounds stupid, that sounds stupid, that sounds stupid. Okay, that's cool. And, at the end of the day, if, at this point, the site's not making money, it just started. We do about 100,000 readers a month right now, which isn't bad for a site that's 3.5 months old. Yeah. 4 months old. But at the end of the day, it's pretty much just me funding it, and as you know, if you guys have good ideas for articles and you pitch them and you want to write them, I'm usually pretty down for it. And that's really what I wanted. Like, if the money comes later, that's cool. If we can get everybody writing as much as they want on the team, and I think there's like 12 or 13 of us now that are writing in some way, from guides to lists to reviews. A lot of indie reviews. That was one thing that really led me, back to your question, down this road was. I like the indie reviews. Like we did our chorus video review that's here on YouTube, which was our first video we ever put up, and we realized like it got over 1,000 views on a channel that had been live for a couple hours, right? When we put it up, and then a couple of the other smaller ones have been doing really well, and we did like the Sifu and a couple other ones, and I just realized like there's a big market for that, even if the market isn't as it's not going to be as exposed as AAA titles, obviously. And so I just, at this point, it's very much not just a passion project for me, but I kind of hope for you guys too, where I'm willing to, if somebody comes from another site that they write for a lot and they say, hey, I really want to do this, I know a lot of times they're not getting those approved by the sites that they write for the most. So it's an easy way for me to say, yeah, let's try it. If it's getting denied at a big gaming site, let's try it and see how it does.
Oh yeah, hell yeah. Also, it looks like we're getting some activity in the YouTube chat. We got Jason actually from Boss Level. He's there, Jason Moth, and we also and a certain streaming moderator I'm familiar with. Hello, Theora. Welcome aboard.
Hey. So Jason is actually my he's my partner at BossLevelGamer. So. He was running a site called Fiction Talk, which he recently sold. I actually came in as a partner there, and we decided to consolidate our efforts. So he's been writing about games forever. Right now, he's very focused on Warhammer 3 because he's a huge Warhammer 3 geek. But he does a lot of our really big lists, but right now, yeah, a lot of Warhammer 3 going up on the site. He actually just did a great guide. If anybody's played the game or is looking to and think your system might be a little too slow for it, he wrote a whole optimization guide, even for older GPUs, which is great.
Very nice. And we salute you, chat. Oh, I love it. We got a bunch of good people watching. Fantastic.
Wonderful. Welcome, everyone. So this is going to be a weekly stream. I jumped on this week, but I think we'll have our editor-in-chief, Jake Valentine, at some point. And then, I basically told Elijah to go out, and anybody that, that he's worked with or he thinks would be great to have on, this first hour we'll play a game, and then I guess your co-host, if we want to call it that, will help go through his catalog of Steam games as well, and then play a second game in the second hour. And then just chat a little bit about the industry, about the people. Yeah.
Yep, and we will also be able to cover stuff beyond Steam. Like,
Absolutely.
I've gotten... there's some stuff I'm still fiddling with, but I am exploring even some of the wilder stuff like N-Gage and PS Vita. And I have to call it Vita because I know it drives Theora nuts.
If you want to talk about mispronunciations, Jason. So I do the voiceover for Jason's videos, and he plays like Warhammer 3, and he plays pretty much all the fantasy games, and even God of War, like Atreus is an easier one, right? But then like every name in there, I have to go and like find like the Greek pronunciation of it, say it 30 times. I have to go through his scripts and like write them out because they just won't come out right in my head. And it doesn't. And then the funny part is I go through all of that trouble, and then he sends the video back to me, and he's like, hey, you said, this really normal like word that you use in American language every day, completely wrong. Which is funny because he's in he's overseas, so like for him to be like, "Hey, you're using that everyday American word wrong," and I'm like, "Oh, that's wonderful." So,
we've got a new wacky weapon. I can now fire poison apples.
Oh man, Theora's going after you already with the boss card. I see how that is. I don't have to listen to him talk much. Usually he's writing or messaging me in Slack or Discord.
Yes. It is. My madness is contained to knowing far too much about Jack-specific plug-and-play games.
That's fair. So
Sorry, you were saying?
back to the game for a second. What I've seen you change your weapons a few times now. How big are the weapon choices in terms of strategy in the game?
They're fairly sizable. You don't really get to, unless a weapon seller spawns, you don't get a ton of options for as to what all you can do, but the variety of things you can find is fantastic. Like this jack-o'-lantern that's floating around me is a temporary ally. It's essentially a sentry drone that will cover me and attack enemies alongside me, ramming right into them. The starting weapon is really the only one that you have a discertainty over. Like, Trucker Guy has a lot more health, he moves slower, and he starts with just a pistol, but also the pistol can hit all the way across the room, so there's some benefit to that. So it's a lot about what kind of utility you want. Ooh.
I have noticed you fly through these rooms pretty quickly. Obviously, you've put some hours into the game now. I feel like being, as we were talking about earlier, being so boxed off and almost claustrophobic, that it can be very easy to start running around and forgetting exactly where the rooms are in the game.
But yeah, actually having a map is wonderful. Oh, and Michelle Jean! She is the host of the Noobcast podcast, and is even more annoyed with my pronunciation of things.
There's like a whole sub-industry of people who just hate the way you talk. I love it.
Yep, I've been on their podcast many a time, and I have made many a pun and mispronunciation that is burned.
If any of you want to send me a list of all the words he mispronounces to James at BossLevelGamer, I'll make sure to bring them up as much as possible in future podcasts.
Oh, dear.
Maybe he does some voiceovers when I can't for Jason, so maybe I'll just have Jason throw some of those words into his reviews.
Suddenly every game's getting compared to various Sony handheld games. This reminds me a lot of Uncharted Golden Abyss for some reason. An apple a day keeps the zombie away! Hey, there's a lot of Albert Einsteins.
I think you've convinced me I need to actually need to download this and play it.
It is...
I try to...
Sorry.
Go ahead.
It's just like, it is incredibly endearing, and the thing I want to be clear here is, I know you were thinking that I've been playing this a while. I actually haven't. I played the demo for like 30 minutes. It's just that intuitive. It's amazing.
That's great. I wonder, so when I get games, my son loves to play on controller. My daughter's totally keyboard mouse. I like that it has both. I might have to try it out on both, because he'll play keyboard and mouse. He plays keyboard and mouse with Minecraft, and he's not bad on it, but when he has the chance to play with the controller, he does. I'm kind of the same way. Like, I love the God of War PC version. And I've been playing on controller, which they actually recommend anyways, which makes sense given the port. But because the reason I like to casually game, and I will get intense with it sometimes, is that I can actually like lean back in my, sometimes a little too far and probably destroying my body at 41 years old, but in my secret lab chair and just chill and drink some whiskey and play games. You can tell when I've been drinking the whiskey for a while and playing the games, because my God of War starts to look more like just being killed in God of War.
Yes, Kratos is just, he's been hitting the mead a little too hard.
A little bit.
Okay.
Oh, perfect. As Jason said, we're going to do an Elix 2... Elix? Yeah, I'm already pronouncing it wrong. Review soon, so...
I believe it's Elix, according to my friend Dan. He's an Uber fan like Jason about it, and yeah... I'm really excited to finally be playing that one, because I also got sent a review copy, and just, like, it looks so cool. And unlike a lot of open-world RPGs, it's specifically built in the same open world. It's just 10 years later, so you actually see the consequences of your actions in the last game.
That's smart. I really like that. I was just watching Fall Guy. It came out on HBO Max, or Disney Plus. Actually, I think both Disney Plus and HBO Max.
Oh, yeah. Free Guy, yeah.
Free Guy, sorry, yeah. And and they talk about how like they're gonna reboot the whole thing as a completely new world, and I'm like, that's the most gaming industry thing. I mean, other than like, I think still the most gaming industry thing that I have seen is Mythic Quest. Have you watched Mythic Quest?
I don't have Apple TV, so not yet, but I've heard amazing things.
All right, don't listen to this, Apple, but at some point remind me to get you my Apple TV login. It's amazing, but every time I watch it, all I can sit there thinking is, this is definitely what Bungie would be like. Like working at Bungie would be working at Mythic Quest, and if you watch it, you'll totally like their ridiculous price of merch and like all of the pay to play things. It's so ridiculous. But their commentary on the industry is brilliant. I really highly recommend it. I mean, they talk a lot about kind of from the bastardization of some sequels which we've seen. I'm looking at Call of Duty and the crazy choice in zombies this last time around. Although I have no problem with Call of Duty, I think the same problem that a lot of people who play Call of Duty have with the random use of zombies just to try to roll up more interest. I don't know what they were thinking. But all the way down to like the little things, like they really do talk about sexism in our industry, and they do it in a funny way, which it's kind of weird to say that because I think that's one of those topics right now that like most people aren't joking about. But it's so well written that when the absurdity of it, right? They don't try to like make jokes about sexism in the gaming industry and coders and testers. They do it in this way that's more like pointing out the absurdity of the companies behind it.
Yeah, kind of a Better Off Ted sort of thing.
That was one of my favorite shows on TV when it was on. My wife and I loved that show. It was a travesty that went off the air.
Yeah, same deal for Santa Clarita Diet. It's just like, I don't know why these high concept, because they're brilliant and they're high concept, but they're still accessible comedies. They just need to find an audience.
Well, that's the thing. They're high concept and getting the audience for that. You and I seem like we're probably in a circle that has friends that are like, we're gonna watch the weird high concept stuff. Gamers are probably a good example of just, we play weird high. You're playing a weird kind of high concept game right now, right? Like it's not it's just strange. You were shooting people with a duck earlier.
Yep.
Like you're probably the audience for the high concept TV shows, whereas the average person. Although Santa Clarita, like I saw it everywhere. Like it had news reported on it.
I still think escapist. I still think Netflix was struggling with just someone up top was struggling with not liking it or something, kind of like what happened with like Dark Matter on Sci-Fi Channel, where it's just like it was a good concept, there was an audience, but there was just enough wiggle room that someone may have taken issue with it and been like, okay, now I can remove this from our lineup. More Stranger Things. This time with... Sorry.
I was say, Theora, you're absolutely right. Like they should just like make like a COZ and get done with it. She's saying that the COD zombies are basically separate games that are packaged in the game.
Oh yeah, no, like she and I have played it's essentially Warframe but with zombies in Call of Duty. I'm blanking on the name right now. I'm sure she will type it in the chat right away, but like it has actual story. The Easter eggs are actually accessible for a change for regular players. It's just like, it's so addictive that I know other friends who are still playing that in Call of Duty Cold War. In fact, that I still need to get to Cold War's campaign. I put like over 20 hours just into how they had with the zombies, and that speaks to just how much of a substantive experience it is. It really and yet the only standalone experience to date was a $7 iPhone app.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know why there was only that. And even then, that one did well. It even got map updates and stuff because people were willing to play it on an iPhone. Okay.
Is that an apple? Is that an apple following you now? Or is that that's the pumpkin?
Yep, wait. That's the pumpkin. Hold on 1 second. Ooh, I do not like how the ground shaked. I'm worried that that big boy might be back. But where was the merchant I need to buy? Ah, there we are.
This is the point in the game where I would have died about 30 times now.
I feel ya. Okay. Ooh, I still can't afford Glory Box. I love the chocolate bunny. That's just adorable, and it's taking me back to VeggieTales. Light toast. Is chance for bullets to burst into more bullets on impact? That sounds... Yeah, I think we'll go with that. Okay, and we got the key. So... the only real place left to check. Also, I just want to say, the aesthetics also, like having the fog textures going overhead, and all the, like, cute but creepy stuff going on in the background in that. Like, the attention to detail is just marvelous. You can tell these are people who, like, love all kinds of horror stuff, whether it's R.L. Stine or something actually serious like Silent Hill. And
I love, too, that even, like, aside from the graphics, like, when you exit a room, those transitions are smooth, but they feel very natural, like, coming into it. Mm-hmm. There's no, like, jarring push into the next room. You're just in the next room.
Yeah, and by making it be, you know, so modular there, too, it's, like, from the developer standpoint, that's also excellent optimization. Like, you're only having to load in each instance, and you can also spread things out a bit for rendering, because, like, you notice how it swoops us away, so these rooms don't actually have to worry about overlapping, so that helps with the isometric angle a ton.
What are you playing on? What are your system specs on your PC?
I am using a CyberPower pre-built. It's got an AMD internals, but it's got 8-core, I think it's the Viscera or whatever you call it, core, and it's got one of the more recent AMDs. I think it's the 570? I think it's the 570. Okay. It can run most things fairly reasonably. Like, if I wanted to, I can play Star Wars Battlefront 2, the new one, at 4K in full screen, and it still holds at around 60 FPS. It's only the really intense stuff or really poorly optimized stuff that's more of a nail-biter. Oh, dear, we've got a boss that can cloak. But it still takes damage while it's being moved around. Okay. Aww. Now it's raining attack tiers! Oh, the jumping is actually factoring in because it's floating above the ground. Yeah, the jumping is interesting. I know a lot of developers would have just had a dodge move, but instead having leaping is...
You actually leap over things, or does it leap you out of the way?
You can actually leap over things. You can leap over obstacles, you can leap over enemies. There's even... Well, that one bunny back up there makes me leap even higher.
I like that he kind of floats when he leaps. Has like that very like...
Oh yeah, it's got the... Oh, oh crap! Grenade launcher. Also, I just realized she's dressed like the Mask.
That's great.
Oh my lord. I just hope the grenades don't blow us up.
I will say this is a very spastic game in the sense that I haven't seen you stop moving other than in these these market screens.
We have cleared the second story.
It also doesn't like before when I was saying that the claustrophobic rooms, like, you don't really face more than 2, maybe 3 enemies at a time either.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Which is, again, a really nice accessibility angle, because a lot of people will be just 100%. Overwhelmed if you throw them with just, like, serious numbers of enemies.
Yeah, like, even if you take roguelike elements and you know, Souls-like elements in these games, but you make them a little more just having fun, casual type of gameplay, even though you can definitely die a lot. Those are my type of games, right? I like to just be able to... I like games where I can play for 30 minutes and not feel exhausted, even if I'm doing a lot in 30 minutes. Because it's been about 45 minutes now, right around there?
Yeah, we're getting around there. Oh my gosh, there's killer zombie bunnies!
Nice. Back to that adorableness.
I mean,
if you can't have an adorable Resident Evil, you might need to get your kick somewhere else with it. Oh,
what on?
Yeah, they are kind of cute.
Oh gosh, what is that? It's...
What are you tossing out there?
That was the grenade launcher. It is... Oh, okay. It is chaotic. It is extremely chaotic, but it does an amazing job. I also love how like those little snails are clearly based on like the worm from I think it was Nightmare Before Christmas. It was Nightmare Before Christmas or Beetlejuice. It's one of the two.
I noticed the bunnies even looked adorable after you killed them. That's
Yeah, I'm trying to think. It was like it's not magnifique corpse, but there's some kind of saying for something like that. Wow. So the bullet mitosis even works for when you're hitting various objects. What is this strange guy, and why is he keep leaping around? Is this seriously a reference to Nothing But Trouble? Did someone actually besides me remember that Dan Aykroyd train wreck?
That's amazing. I did not remember that until you said it.
I got educated on it very early on by have you ever seen the channel Good Bad Flicks? Oh, that is horrifying. But it's very hard to hit. Ah! Oh my.
I took your suggestion, started playing quite a bit of Gunfire Reborn in the last 2 weeks, which is that's another kind of adorable game that what did you call it? Borderland with cats.
Yes.
I think was what it was. And this kind of reminds me of that in the sense that it's like it's super casual and you're definitely just shooting out a lot of things, running around a lot. Obviously a very different type of game in terms of general gameplay, but still just like you're just having fun. You can tell you're just not you take it seriously. Obviously you want to get through it, but at the same time it's just a lot of stupid fun.
Oh yeah, it's just like the kind of arcade challenge that a lot of games have kind of lost in this day and age of having to grind for everything. And it's like, ironically, by being harder and being a little less forgiving, it's way more relaxing. It's a lot less intense of, ooh, but am I going to get the right loot for this? Am I going to accomplish things right? And yes, Theora, Flesh Cube. And now we're probably gonna get even something worse. What on earth? Skulls! Flying. We are now in Devil Daggers, apparently. There's Teenage Mutant Ninja Robots! Oh, they don't die. The heart is their life source. Oh my gosh. That is clever. Oh no. More of the weird baby men. No.
I like how within a couple minutes of me saying, "Oh, it's cute. There's only like 2 enemies per level," and then all of a sudden you just get bombarded by enemies when you go into a square of the same size.
We are we were Icarus, and we came much too close to the sun. Oh no.
Oh. Yeah, I think those guys are actually the creepiest thing I've seen in this game so far.
Oh yeah.
Shot. I'll take the cute bunnies back now.
Oh, yeah, gonna. Ah! Well, you got your wish!
There you go.
The fluffy bunny, why? Fluffy bunny, why?
Oh, he's coming for you.
X gonna give it to you. Come on, there has to be an item shop around here close by.
Yep, just more adorable bunnies that want to eat you.
Come on. Oh! I almost got the flamethrower. Rest in peace. First run to make it to story 3. Alright, I think we're going to give it one more run, and then we should transition over to Scrapland.
Alright.
Okay, so you were saying you were looking at the state of everything in games and stuff like that, and what you're trying to accomplish with having actually in-depth lists and stuff like that. I'm curious, what's something in particular that besides what we've already been working at Boss Level, something that you'd really like to see more in the industry?
So, well, bringing it back to the list thing first. One thing is we're never going to get every game right. We can say these are the isometric RPGs you need to be playing right now, and we're going to, you know, list 40 of them, and inevitably, and you've seen this in our comment section, somebody's like, how could you miss this one? And one of the things that I really, that we focused on is saying, oh, you know, that's a really good one, it should be on the list, and we'll add it. So we're trying to take community feedback a lot. That's one thing. I think there's so many different, you know, preferences in gaming. Like, even if you're playing, you know, JRPG, like, you might be really into that side of the industry, but you might not really care for certain genres of that, you know, subgenres of that genre. And so being able to like create stuff and then actually listening to community feedback of saying, how could you guys miss this? This is my favorite. And, you know, and either finding somebody, you know, Jason actually went into one of the lists we just did, and he added like 4 more games in that he knew about, right? So I collaboration is something that I think's big. Like, I want people to be able to say, hey, I wrote this list of 42 items, and then maybe over the next year 8 more get added because we get comments, we get feedback. You know, whether the comments come on our website, whether they're on Facebook, whether, you know, somebody yells at us on Reddit. I hope they're not yelling at us, but it's the internet, so that's just kind of the way it is. But I like the collaboration part. You know, we just started it. We're going to start posting to it this coming week, later in the week. But I started a Facebook group called Non-Toxic Gamers, and that actually it's actually I modeled it around. I'm in the Non-Toxic Star Wars group, and I really like it because people just talk about stuff. They help each other out. And so I thought that would be a good group. It'll be heavily moderated, and, you know, people will be able to voice their opinions about, you know, any game they want, from this to you know, to Rainbow Six, to Destiny, to Super Mario Brothers. And we want it to be a nice, inclusive environment. And then a few of the other things we're looking at doing right now is actually building profiles for gamers on the site. So that's still in the works. It's probably another, you know, 3 to 6 months out. But, you know, a place where people can go on, put, you know, specs about their rig, what systems they play on, favorite games. That way, you know, when people are commenting, they say, hey, you missed this game, or I love this game. If people click through on their profile link in their comments, they can see like, oh yeah, I like this guy's comment and I like what he's saying, so I'm going to follow him. You know, our site's built on WordPress, so we can do a lot of that already through BuddyPress and through some plugins. But really, I'd like it to be a place for people to connect, where they say, oh yeah, I'm in a comment thread with this person. You know, I'm going to follow this comment thread. If they like what they're saying, they can, you know, follow that person, see their other comments, and engage. Almost, I don't want to make it too social community based. If I wanted to do that, I would just build a social network for gamers. But, you know, I want it to be a little more interactive and not just those one-off comments.
Oh yeah, no, I totally get you.
And I feel like, you know, outside of that, I just like I said before, I just want to kind of have fun with it. I like that people are bringing different ideas to the table, and we have our main stuff, right? We've been ranking out, you know, and we're very careful to say it's the writers' opinions, but ranking out stuff like Far Cry games and COD games, and Jason just did like ranked all the Blizzard games, and we ranked all the, I think, BioWare games, and so, you know, there's different. There's obviously the mainstay stuff, which I think as a gaming site we need to have. So we're building a lot of that out, but we're doing it pretty quickly. We're adding about a list a day right now. In the last few months, we've done over 100 lists. You know, a lot of people. I didn't
realize it was that many already.
Yeah, we posted like 102 as of like 3 days ago. I think we're up to like 105, 106 lists already, which I know gaming sites that have been around for years and don't have that. In fact, Jason's old site, which is a great site, Fiction Talk, I think when we left last, it was like 78 when we sold it, and we know the guy who bought it, and he's doing a great job with it and adding a lot more now. But yeah, it's a lot, and we're getting people from all over the world. I have a woman from Malaysia, Sarah, who writes for us, and I love her voice in it. She's done everything from, she ranked every Genshin Impact character and every weapon. So she plays that game like crazy, but then she also did like ranking all of like the studs in some like dating sim game and all of the love interest in Stardew Valley. And so like she has a different voice, right? I actually reached out to a few other female game writers and just haven't gotten back to me yet. So, but I want it to be inclusive. I want to get a lot of voices. I want to start a series on accessibility in gaming. I haven't had time to reach back out, but I had one writer who said, "Hey, I'm partially blind, so I can't really do anything in WordPress." And I'd love to get viewpoints like that in there because accessibility in gaming, I think, is becoming more accepted now. You see somebody will be like, "I hate that they have auto aim so aggressive in this," and like almost immediately I'll see 20 people in the comments going, "Why do you have a problem with that?" Like, accessibility exists for a reason. It's not just to make games easier. And I love that. I love the fact that we're seeing so much of that now in our industry, that people are accepting the accessibility, and whether they need it to be able to play games themselves, or they want to just take an easier track on a game, or they want it for other people. It's really cool to see that. So we're going to start an accessibility series and some other stuff as well here coming up soon.
Hell yeah. Speaking as someone who does have, some dyslexia, I appreciate that. Because, like, literally, there's a game right now. I can't say what it is that I'm reviewing for another outlet. And, yeah, for the first time, I felt really comfortable in just being like, you know what? Yes, I'm going to talk about the fact that this game has some accessibility issues for both for those who might not have audible hearing and for those who might have dyslexia. And it's nice to see that we're finally getting to a point in the industry where we're like, yeah, this stuff is, it's not unreasonable to do this. And there's all kinds of ways for people to experience games. I mean, even just look at, like, Xalavier Nelson, like, his most recent game, Space Warlord Organ Trade Simulator. Like, one of the programmers for that even made it so that you can play it with just a Kinect. You can actually plug a Kinect into your PC and play the entire game just with hand gestures.
That's amazing. Theora, I would love to get your feedback on some of that. Like I said, my email address earlier is james@bosslevelgamer.com. We also have a Discord thread, actually a Discord server that Elijah's been setting up for us too. So yep. if you want to get an invite from him, that's going to be a big, going back to why did I start the site and what do I want? A big thing for me, I obviously gaming, I go on IGN, I look at, CGM magazine, who I know the guys over there, and the Games Cabin, and everyone from smaller indie sites to the bigger sites. And when you get to the really big sites, they tend to be dictated by the exclusives, right? They want the Elden Ring exclusive for the first trailer. They want the big AAA titles, and yeah, they cover indies, and they need to be true to true gamers too. But I feel like you get a lot of those big exclusives and stuff, and I think sometimes it becomes tone deaf to the readers. And obviously we want gamers to be able to talk about games in the Discord server, but I also want people to really voice like, hey, I'd love to see more of these, or maybe there's some new subgenre of gaming that comes out, and they want to see more on that. And I'm happy to spend the time and the money to get somebody like Elijah, who's passionate about playing these new games, obviously who started this one, to go out and say, all right, I'm gonna go play these 5 top ranked games of this new genre on Steam, and then rank them out, and then come back to the community and say, hey, you guys were all interested in in this type of genre, so I ranked out 5 of them: the good, the bad, the ugly, and then you go from there. I'm excited for everything to do with Elden Ring, Theora. I mean, obviously the reviews are phenomenal, but a lot of the guys that and women that I talk to in groups right now, like, it seemed like the most fun they've had reviewing games before the reviews started dropping that I've seen in a while. Like, a lot of frustrations on finding some components of the game as I got a little further along and figuring out where to go next. But in general, I need to find the time to actually sit down and play that properly. I think that's going to be the first game in a while where I'm actually just going to lock myself away late at night and game through the night. I don't get to do that much with 3 kids at home anymore. I mean, I can, but then I'll go to bed at 4 in the morning to be woken up at 7 in the morning.
Yeah, there you go. Interesting. Fun sticks. Also, hello, Amar! Welcome aboard. He's another one of our writers. He's done a couple lists. In fact, I actually voiced his ranking of Valorant maps, if I recall correctly, which you can find on our channel. I'm wondering, what exactly does Fun Sticks do? Huh. I guess we'll see.
I don't know if I want to know.
Yeah, it's like it just literally says yummy, and I'm like, oh dear, did I just take like some PCP or something? We've already got enough of an acid trip going on as is. Oh dear. Oh dear golly. No! Oh dear. This is not good. This is really not good. Fun sticks activate!
You have no. Do you know what the fun sticks do yet?
I don't. I have no idea. I'm just hoping they do something. Ah!
I feel like fun sticks activate could blow up in your face really quickly.
Quite possibly, literally. Oh no. Oh no. Yeah, this. Ah! Whew. Ah! Die, random ghost thing. Okay. Ah. Rad machine gun. Ah. Okay. Got 2 health left.
We've got Jason up until 3 a.m. I don't expect to see him on too early in the morning. In
oh dear. We appreciate your accompaniment in all this. Oh my gosh, it actually it's the rad machine gun actually fires RGA bullets. They glow and they're like Technicolor. Oh my word.
Connor, what's going on, man? Connor's a buddy of mine who I met actually. So my PC's from Evolve PC, and we were talking about this before we started the stream. They're an awesome pre-built gaming company that I got right as the pandemic was going on. It's what got me back into gaming. It's the only place I can get a GPU, and I got to know the CEO and former COO there. And Connor is in their channel, and he kicks my butt in Destiny 2, like ridiculously kicks my butt. But he's also the reason that I was able to go from like 1100 to like 1324 in like the period of like a month, just by like following him around and figuring out where everything was.
You have your
But if anybody ever wants to lose very badly at Destiny 2 in like PvP against someone, he's a good person to play against.
Oh dear. Oh my. 'Tis but a flesh wound. Wow. The power of the disco assault rifle saved us. Whew.
We're gonna... Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I feel you, Jason, on the waking up at noon thing, because yeah, working... Both my mom and I are night owls, so I'm usually working on video stuff or articles, and she's usually drawing up her art in the middle of the night. But yeah, we will...
I'm an old man, and if I could go to bed at 9 every night, I would. But by the time I get done with work, my day job, and then I get done with my regular, then I get done with BLG stuff, and then I tinker with other website stuff. My wife has a website, and I get all that done. I'm like, oh, now if I want to game at all, I have to do it between like 9 and 11, which is not ideal when I wake up at like 5 in the morning to work out. But... it is what it is. I got to sacrifice to get in any gameplay time, which I'm okay with.
Yeah, my buddy Dan, he actually has made it so that his exercise bike also allows him to play games simultaneously. So, like, that's how he got through, like, Subnautica, is he played it while riding around. There's an electric guitar!
I have a Rogue Echo bike. I have a huge gym. Like, put power racks, functional trainers, lat machines. I went all out on it, and I would die trying to do that on my quote-unquote bike, because it's an Echo bike, which is like a fan bike, and that thing gets my heart rate up to like 140 in like 30 seconds. So if I tried to game and do that at the same time, somebody would find me dead on my garage floor like 10 minutes later.
That is very, very... Get away, creepy baby man! Oh, dear. Well, for a brief second there, my mouse clipped outside the game, and I was like, oh no! Now the baby man's gonna get me! See here, what's Jason seeing or what there? He's talking about Warhammer.
Yeah, he posted an optimization guide yesterday, and then they did a bunch of hot fixes right after he posted that. And I think Jason wrote about the hot fixes too. So it's because there was a lot of complaints like right out of the box. I didn't expect it to be that intensive. It's not my style of game. I need like very much in the action type stuff. When it comes to strategy games, I'm like, okay, I got to do this, and this, and now wait it out a little bit. And I'm just I was like that since like Sid Meier's first Civilization, right? Like I couldn't play like Farmville because I was like, okay, I planted something, now what? Like I can't exist in that world. I wish I could. If Warhammer 3 played like the trailers looked, I could play it all day long. I could do that type of strategy where I'm like down in the streets doing stuff, but like moving, you know, ogres around or other classes around, it's just not my thing. And I can't get deep enough into the strategy. I have mad respect for people like Jason who can do that and like literally sit there and strategize things and think their next steps out. I was never good at Risk. I don't think I've ever won a game of Risk against people in my life.
I think for me, probably the best style I've found, besides Star Wars Empire at War, would have to actually be more like the Commandos style, because that was like one of the things I loved about one of the games that came out late last year from... Oh, I can't believe I'm blanking on the name right now, but I did a 3-minute review of it on Escapist. It's War Mongrels. It was War Mongrels. That was the game, and just... I can't recommend that game enough because it's like one of those classic. It's isometric like this, and it's it's got this emphasis on stealth, and like it's very, very easy to die in that game, like even on the easiest difficulty. But it also has just such amazing presentation and gets you so invested and lets you do so many things. Like there is a prison break where you are both the person being held hostage by the Nazis and the guy breaking her out. Both of you simultaneously. You're essentially playing 2 stealth levels at once.
That's a lot going on at once I can deal with. It's the sitting and waiting or pushing and waiting and strategizing that I can't do.
Exactly.
Yeah, I agree. So in the comments, I agree. Warhammer 3 having hotfix is 100% fine. I don't expect any game that hundreds, sometimes thousands of people are working on to have no day one issues. The one thing I can say about Warhammer 3 is we're not seeing like catastrophic failure of the game, right? It's not like a Cyberpunk where it's unplayable. I mean, it's true, right? It's like you're not seeing that. You're seeing normal fixes, and it's different when you have 100 QA testers going through a game as to when you have all of a sudden hundreds of thousands or 1 million people playing a game. There's going to be issues. So it's good to see that there hasn't seemed to be any, and they're fast. I mean, those hot fixes are coming quick.
Oh yeah,
which is amazing to see.
Yeah, I have mad respect for anyone who updates stuff as quickly as possible, because like you were saying about Avengers, I remember back when they first launched and they were having issues with AMD. One of their graphics programmers, she was actually willing to get in the Discord and talk to us directly to be like, okay, what's breaking? Give me an idea. I want to get this fixed. Because just man.
I mean, that's how it should be. And even if there isn't a fix right away, as long as they acknowledge that yes, it's an issue and we're working on it, and there's a lot to work through. And I think the thing that a lot of people miss with I've worked in digital publishing and tech for the last 20 years, and I can tell you that you might be like, oh my god, I can walk through this wall. I shouldn't be able to walk through this wall. Why wasn't it fixed like yesterday? And what a lot of people don't realize is some of those glitches, it's not an easy like write a line of code or fix a line of code. It's, oh, okay, in order to fix this, we coded this NPC wrong and they need to be over here, and we need to do X, Y, and Z, to get to that point. And sometimes it's not just a matter of fixing that line of code. It's going back and fixing like entire sections of a waterfall effect of issues to get that one thing fixed.
Oh my gosh, we're fighting it now. And he's got a giant bowling ball of death. If this second phase turns into a spider, I'm calling hijinks.
I think the best way to look at, going back for a second to like the issues with hot fixes and stuff. I don't know if you've ever seen the meme, and it's hilarious. But in Fallout 3, they have the tram.
Oh, I know exactly what you mean. Yeah.
So for anybody who don't know this, in Fallout 3, there's a tram that you can ride. Well, the problem was they couldn't just code a tram. Like, it's a whole new thing they'd have to do. So they actually coded a tram on top of an NPC's head, and they put the NPC underground, so it actually walks and makes the tram move. And it's brilliant, because it was like a very, like, they already had the mechanics to make an NPC move back and forth in whatever direction. So, You can look it up. If you look up Fallout 3 NPC hat, the tram is actually a hat that sits on top of the person's head, which is brilliant.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Yeah, like I've been actually learning how to develop with Unreal Engine 4 and just, yeah. Really weird things happen for the simplest stuff, like just trying to get a sound effect to loop when you're just when you're messing around in the code can be such a tricky thing, and it's a lot better than it used to be. Like nowadays we have stuff like Unreal Blueprint, whereas back in the day, just oh no, oh dear, I am a bad fit. Oh dear. Well, I did say this was gonna be our last run. Whew. We've apparently reached the Umbrella Corporation.
It's gonna prove me wrong about 2 to 3 enemies being in a room at once. That jump function you were talking about though works really well here.
Oh yeah,
it's like you were saying, they don't just have you dodge across the room, which I think is almost a symptom of the levels you're playing in being so small, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like if they had you just dodge, there's not a lot of places to dodge to. Your guy only takes like 8 steps to get from one side of the room to the other. So if you can't do that kind of glide and jump to get around the rooms, you're kind of limited in your mobility, which I think is a brilliant way for them to kind of address that to a point. What is that?
I don't know, but it keeps barfing on me.
I'm going back to the whole, even their barfing weird enemies are kind of adorable in this game.
It is. It actually reminds me of this one edutainment game I had as a kid where it was like math monsters and you had to do, you know, create your own custom monster for Dr. Lizard Lips. Gosh, I miss edutainment games. And now there's just a cyber demon.
By the way, I just did a quick search of adorable horror games, and like Twinfinity has like 7 horror games that are actually kind of adorable. The Gamer has 15 terrifying video games that trick you by looking cute. So there's definitely an industry for adorable horror games if anybody out there is looking for them.
All right, so that has been Dead Estate, and as said, there's a free demo. Please feel free to give it a whirl, and it's only like $15 US, and you can find it on Steam.
And it has both controller support as well as keyboard and mouse.
Mm-hmm. And multiple unlockable characters on top of your base ones. Apparently, based on the trailer, there's even some kind of inspired by the cast of Cowboy Bebop. I'm sure it's not official, but apparently there's some inspiration there as well. But we will be right back in just a moment. All right, give me just a second here. All right. Okie dokie. All right, there, game capture. Oh. That's odd. Just a second, folks. Discord's being a little weird. Yeah, it's for right now. For some reason, our webcams are showing up a little funny. So just a moment. All right. Okay, almost there. I know. You know, it was terrifying there. We could have... Where? Hold on. Okay, there we go. That's better. That's better. All right, we're almost there. Huh. Yeah, I don't know what... when I open it to edit it, it's displaying correctly. But for some reason, whenever it's set to finally go, it keeps disabling it. I'm not sure why it keeps making them go invisible, because they are set to visible. I apologize. It was working fine moments ago. I don't know why it's being weird now. How about we restart the Discord call real quick? See if that just... All right. Okay, alright, so it's been re-enabled. That is weird. It keeps making our webcams disappear. I don't know why OBS is doing that. It's very curious. Let me try one last trick. See if that... Okay. Actually, now it's not even display... Hold on here. This is... Yes, yeah, OBS is glitching hard. It's not displaying the game either. I don't understand. Everything was fine, and all we did was transition. Jason is saying, my disappointment at the stream is immeasurable. Missionik. Yes. Yes. Maximum... We have hit the maximum amount of disappointment for Jason. Okay. I am going to see here. I think I might be able to get this to behave itself. If it's doing what I think it's doing, I have one last method of getting OBS to behave. Okay. Okay, so that one's set there. Alright, and just edit the transform here. Alright, now just gotta make sure that our illustrious founder is also in view. Alright. And okay. So we are going to transition back and see if... Okay, so we are displaying correctly. Okay, so the glitch was purely on the preview side of things, it seems. So, yay! We are back, and now... Tell me, oh boss of boss level, Scrapland appearing correctly on our stream?
Right now, I still see we'll be right back.
All right, just transition.
Oh, actually, no, hold on. Let me go more live. I think I may have when I clicked out of there for a second. Oh, I think you might be good now. I think it. Oh, I gotta hit play. I think I may have. I see us now, so that's a good sign.
Yes.
Yep, now presenting Scrapland. I see a black screen on Scrapland, but it's
okay. Yeah, now it's coming through. But for some reason, I'm seeing on YouTube our.
There it is. There it is. I see it now.
Okay. All right. Odd. In OBS, we're aligned correctly, but on YouTube, it's showing us. Oh, okay. Now we're all.
I see it. We're
we are back, and we are ready to go.
We got the added bonus of James is not fully in the screen. I can see me fully in the screen.
Yes.
I have a big head. My kids tell me that all the time. I'm probably just...
Yeah,
he said it looks good now.
Yes.
I was getting pizza at a local pizza place, and some little like 4 or 5-year-old just comes up to me and goes, "You have a big fat head." Just like randomly sitting at the register, and I looked down at the kid and I said, "You're a big poopy face," and he was like, "Huh?" And his dad was trying not to laugh. His mom laughed out loud. And so like 3 weeks later, I live in a not a big area. I was at our local grocery store and I saw the kid again, and he looks at me and goes, "You're the guy with the big fat head." I'm like, I got this like 4 or 5-year-old like walking around town trolling me. Don't need to go into a video game to get trolled or go on Twitter or Facebook. I just literally walk around town and have little children trolling me.
Okay, I now understand why our cameras sometimes are glitching out. Apparently, Scrapland, whatever they did to make it so they can run on a modern resolution, yeah, it knocks Discord out of frame. It's apparently taking control of the resolution and moving us out of frame. So you can see my chin and the top of your head. That appears to be
just my hat in frame or something.
Yes, actually, yes. Literally, it is just the cap, so you can still see the logo.
I can see it. Yeah.
All right. Do you want us to try something else, or are you good with proceeding with how we are right here?
That's up to you. I could probably I don't move my camera. It doesn't work. That's a good thing to know about Scrapland.
Yeah, that's a very odd quirk. Because yeah, the second I alt tab back out, everything is aligned correctly. Actually, I might be able to compensate somewhat. If we are appearing in different ways.
Hey, there you go. We're back in properly now.
All right.
Or is that because you went out of the game?
I alt-tabbed out of the game. I'm trying to see if I tried to adjust this just a little bit to see if it gets us a little more in frame. That is the one trick, because like for those just tuning in, this game is from 2004. It had the misfortune of like people loved it in reviews, but it released between Half-Life 2, Doom 3, so many just like major games. Actually, no, my adjustments have made me even more out of frame. Oh dear.
Amazing. I mean, we could jump into another game if you want. I'm up for whatever.
Yeah, let's, alright. Hold on. Let's transition back. Okay. Well, I wanted to look at Scrapland because I've been told it's amazing, but clearly this is going to be one to be played when you're not using a webcam. My goodness. I do appreciate that Mercury Steam made sure to bring it over. Okay. Alright. Hold on here. Let me bring up the trove of things. Let's see here. What's something good to play in here that fits well? That actually functions as intended. All right, let's see here. Actually, let's see here. With Steam Next Fest, there's a variety of demos we can try there. Yes, I should be able to run it all windowed. I'm looking through here. Choose one. Ooh, that's a good one. All right, we're still going to space, but this time it has whiskers. Just give me a minute to get it loaded. I don't know how the cats keep finding me, but it's actually just now, I think, going up on Kickstarter. It's called Whisker Squadron. Alright. And everyone tuned in can probably hear the game already. Okay. Now, let's see. Yes. Alright. And windowed 1080p. I told it to not go full screen, and it still did. So, we're going to see here. And this, kids, is why you do pilots. This is why you do pilots. It is in open rebellion! But alright. Let's see here. So let's turn the volume down. There we go. Because that's like a very dramatic orchestral score. Unfortunately, Jason, I do not have the Beholder 3 demo installed. But I am very excited by Beholder 3 because that series is... I'm amazed that it actually managed to turn into a series. Okay, it's displaying right. It's functioning right. And our cameras are not borked. Let's play!
Alright.
Alright, and we can actually choose our wingmate. Ooh, I like Max. He looks very pudgy. Oh, so you can play as anyone, and you can have them as... Okay. Olivia is the newly graduated from Musonia. She joined the Whisker Squadron on Primitus after her family's home in another system was destroyed. She's good and she knows it. Her cockiness gets her into trouble, but she always tries her best. Special homing rockets lock onto 3 targets with lock-on rockets, and always talks big about her team's accomplishments and gets +1 ranking at the end of the level. Okay, and yeah, Max gives us a shield. All right. Oh yeah, this game uniquely has a branching story mode, kind of like Wing Commander.
I'm excited to see this. Just from the graphical standpoint of it, I like really cartoony games.
Oh, this handle's nice. You can invert the Y-axis.
Connor, did you just notice we're in black and white? That's a very Connor thing of you to notice at this point.
Connor reminds me a lot of someone I used to play D&D with, who he played a changeling. So like, everyone else is being stealthy, and you know, our changeling was like, it's okay, I'll distract them for you, and just turned into a hyena.
Oh, one thing that Connor is not in Destiny 2 is stealthy. Maybe in PvP a little bit, but in general, you always know that he's there because he's like his it doesn't matter if it's a Titan or his Warlock or whatnot, they all have like severe ADHD. Like I've never seen him sit. I'm not just talking like, you know, trying to flank out an opponent or strafing or anything. He's just all over the place all the time.
Oh, there's even drifting. Oh, that is good feel there.
I like the movement in this.
Yeah, this is really impressive. It's also impressive that it's not breaking our webcams.
Yeah, hey, I'll take that. It's not, in all fairness, it's not from, although my webcam is a little bit up. I think when you adjusted them, there's like a black line below. I don't know if you're seeing that or...
I do see that.
I just look like I'm in half widescreen.
Alright, let's fix that really quick. There's a little bit of a bar still, but
that's fine.
There you go.
There you go. I like the move. Oh, I like the movement in the flying there.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Oh, hello, Allie. She's one of my regulars from Escapist. Welcome aboard, and it's not out, but there is a free demo right now on NextFest for the next couple of days. Rough patch of space head. Oh, I didn't see the text. With this scrap material, the bots have... Wow, these... Yeah, that's some pretty big scrap metal. Okay, let's see here. So I'm assuming that's... I'm assuming those are our targets. Oh, they're like tardigrades. That's why they're... Oh my goodness. Okay, lock on with right click. Ah, you have to collect purple orbs to use the secondary fire. Gotcha. Oh, there's actual resources to collect. Anyway, since we're on to our second phase of the stream, does the chat have any questions that they would like to ask us about Boss Level, about ourselves, about these wonderful games that we're playing?
Very disappointed that I can't see the cat at all times in space. You sold me on cats in space, and I got a ship in space that looks like it belongs in a Rick and Morty episode.
It does have that kind of shading to it, doesn't it?
It does, in a good way. I'm a huge fan of cell shading, and I hate even when like Zelda came out, and you know there were the detractors from it who just don't like cell shading. I don't need hyperrealism all the time. In fact, I tend to gravitate towards less hyperrealism in games, unless it's something like a God of War, which I just think that port is so beautiful. I think that might be my favorite port now. I mean, I'm only 6-7 hours into the game, but there's nothing about it I don't like. But yeah, this I love. Who produced? Actually, I'm right here. I can look it up. Flipfly. Have you played their Race the Sun?
Yes, I actually have. It is a fantastic game. It came out on PS Plus a while ago, and for an infinite runner, it has some of the best level design I've ever seen.
The graphic design in it is amazing. Like even in the more grayed out areas of it just looks very, very solid. You can see that they lended well to Whisker Squadron from what they did before. How are the controls in this? It looks like they're pretty smooth.
Yeah, I'm doing this with keyboard and mouse, and it handles very well. And usually, with most modern flight games, you can tell they built it with the gamepad first, but this handles really well. This is... I feel like someone played Criterion's flight model for Battlefront 2, and they were like, okay, we can work with this. Oh, wow. Destroyer Beetle. Oh, so that's the rockets. Okay. Ooh, we are taking a beating. We need to get out of here. Okay, so they said.
And this has a remote play together for it too.
Yep.
That'll be fun.
Oh yeah, I can imagine split screen for this is really good. Oh.
Full controller support. I can actually see enjoying this one on a controller. Depending on the auto. I don't know what the auto aim would look like on there, but I feel like you move around quite a bit in this.
Collect what you can, get to the exit portal before the swarm catches up to you. Okay. Okay, so this is a scavenging run. Gotcha. We're scavenging for resources.
And if anybody just joined us and missed it, this is the demo of the game, which is available on Steam right now. And they just have they don't actually have a date for it yet. It's just planned to release in 2022 sometime, it looks like.
Which is very fair in, you know, a world where you just... There's always plot twists. Whether it be games behaving weird or just, you know, sometimes you have to reconfigure how a game's gonna go. Although that has worked out positively as well, like, you know, with Psychonauts 2 getting to be everything. I remember when they were saying, they were like, ooh, we might have to cut some things, and it's like, no, actually, we got to keep everything.
I've been playing Grounded with my kids for like the last 6 months, and they keep adding the new updates in. I mean, it's still in preview, and I don't mind at all. Actually, there hasn't been any major issues. My main sticking point that I know I've complained to you about a couple of times in the last few days, and everybody, is the inability to name saving files. I still don't understand how gaming companies haven't got that right. Like, just give me the ability to say that this is my game, and this is my kid's game, and this is a friend's game, and, you know, this is my second game that I'm playing in a different mode. It's probably the most annoying thing in games to me.
Yeah, trying to get things to come together a bit more and lead to a more exciting situation. I definitely get you there. Alright. Okay, we collected some stuff. Alright.
I agree. The hyper-realism, if not done properly, looks janky when you have, just responding to the comments, but if you have... creative art direction always is going to win me over. That's like the first thing when I look at a preview of a game, is the actual gameplay trailers, and I look to see if like the world draws me in ways that aren't super hyper real.
Also, yes, Amar, I would definitely say that, like, yeah, Hotline Miami definitely, in my book, counts as like a proper... I can't seem to destroy the big thing. But yeah, Hotline Miami definitely, that aesthetic is just gorgeous, and it's like a pixelated acid trip. Ah! Ooh. I do like that the boosting is also tied into your ammunition, so you can't just waste too much of one or the other.
Oh, interesting. Add a little more strategy to it, especially when you're kind of in like this open space environment where, yeah, there's a lot of flying around, but it's still very open. I feel like that closes it off a little bit. It makes you focus a little more on the strategy in open space, especially if you hit a couple enemies at once, which is nice.
Indeed. What I'm curious about is, I know that there are ground sections, like they do the more linear Star Fox stuff too. They have it in their trailers and everything, so I'm wondering when we're going to get to that. It's actually a little surprising to see them go for more of the all-range style missions to start off with. I'm curious when we're going to need to be using all this stuff we're ordering. Maybe we're going to buy upgrades or something before we dive into a serious mission.
I feel like they, especially in the demo, like they gave you this to kind of get used to the controls, like you said, getting used to the boost with the weapons, which, you know, I love a good intro to a game that draws you in by making you feel like you're part of the game right away. You know,
definitely.
You look at, you know, again, going back, because I've been playing God of War with my son, like that first epic fight battle, you know, you're going to win that battle almost every time. It's really hard to lose that battle, but at the same time, you get a feel for what it's like to fight the big bosses, feel comfortable with the game, and move on.
Okay. Oh,
that was cool.
Yeah, I didn't realize I was spending my money out of the gate there, so I cannot buy anything else. But I believe I bought myself and my wingmate shields, so there's that. I do like the ship design. It makes me think a little bit of Hardship, the one where you break up all the different kinds of ships and break them down for minerals and stuff like that. But I think after this one we should be diving into a combat mission from the looks at the map. Okay, let's try and get a little bit more. Okay.
I like the subtle, almost like hyperspace lines when you go into boost.
Yeah.
They're not overpowering with it. Like you can tell you're boosting, but you don't feel like you're getting distracted from your surroundings with it.
I think the only criticism I have right now is I feel like your rockets should do a bit more damage because they seem to just kind of cough on the drones. Like, no, blew up. Nyeh. Although, I guess we are playing as a cat, so just pawing at something kind of makes sense.
That's true. Go see if you can knock something off of like a ledge or something. Is there something you could just nudge off a table in space? I feel like if there was something on an asteroid, a cat would definitely like fly over to and just nudge it off the edge of the asteroid.
Oh my.
And you were right, there are procedural generated boss fights at some point. I'm assuming in the demo somewhere you get to see at least one of the boss fights.
Oh yeah, I gotta believe that like by the end of this, like if this is like an old school proper demo, you can just I apparently I need a core to jump through the exit gate, and I do not have one. That's worrisome. Because yeah, it's showing that we need an energy core of some kind. Maybe there's one up in that wreck. So you're starting this game already on the back pedal, clearly. Like, ooh, I have 5 health left. A little more direction wouldn't be terrible. I will say that. A little more direction on where to go and how to get the resources you need. But for an early demo, this is really not like there's a stable frame rate, controls are working well and stuff like that. Let's see.
It looks like there's not a lot of dead time in between doing things too. Some of these space games, it's like my biggest complaint.
Oh yeah.
You fly around a lot trying to figure out what you're looking for. At least there's a lot of engagement in some way, shape, or form here.
Oh yeah, definitely. Actually, going back to what you were saying about preferences, I'm curious, given you said you like stuff that's more immediate and, you know, like, getting you right in there, what would you say is your favorite genre overall?
You know, I don't know if it's so much a genre of gaming because, like I'll tell you, like, right now in my library thing, like, part of it's because I do play stuff with my kids, but, like, I'll jump in when I'm just bored and play, like, Brawlhalla, right? Just to, like, play something stupid, button masher type of games. And I play, like, Fall Guys with my kids a lot because it's just stupid fun. But then I'm playing God of War, Grounded, I'm still playing Gunfire Reborn on your suggestion. A little bit of Marvel's Avengers. I'm getting more into it because I feel like it's a little more stable now. And then I just finished Time Loader finally. I've had that sitting there forever, like as an indie game. But for the most part, like most of the games that I play are in some way story driven. So I'm playing Cyberpunk 2077 finally because it's stable enough now, and I got my 3070 Ti now, and I'm playing God of War. But mostly story driven stuff more than like genres. I don't really care what genre I'm playing. If somebody's like, that's the reason Guardians of the Galaxy, right? Whereas my son's gonna take it over for me. If it's story driven, I'll play it. Hades, you know, I getting through Hades was like, I feel like story driven enough to a point for me, but I don't. It doesn't really matter to me, to be honest. I know like a lot of people love their roguelikes or their isometric games or their strategy games, but I've never been really like. There's never. I can't think of a time when I've been like, okay, I played a strategy game. I'm going to go to another strategy game. I'm going to go to another strategy game. Never really cared for kind of pigeonholing myself.
I feel that. I feel that a lot. That's very much how I've tried to approach things. It's like, it's usually more just like a style, I guess, is what I look for. Like, there's even been times like I've actually been intentionally like, I need to play something bad. Like I need to play a Mind Jack or a Rambo the video game to
Nice.
just clear my head a bit and just be like, reset the internal critic meter to be like, okay, let's remember just how bad things can actually get.
I do that with movies, so I get that. Like I watch really, really bad movies just because I'm like, I have to watch this now. There's a movie that came out last year called Noah's Shark instead of Noah's Ark, and it's about these like guys who go and try to find Noah's Ark, but then it's like protected by sharks to try to kill them. So I totally get the need to kind of just watch something stupid to compare it to something better later.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Oh, good. I do prefer cartoony though. Like we were saying before, I don't need hyperrealism. I've never needed hyperrealism in games. I have no problem with it. I'll play them. But it's never been like, you know, even like something like Cyberpunk, which actually I think Cyberpunk's way too busy at points, especially in like the main area of the game until you get outside the city a little more. But I like that even though it has like characters in this like world that now has much better ray tracing and other elements now that they've continued to add to it, it's still like the characters don't feel real to me. Whereas like in something like a God of War where they're more real, I think the reason that I accept that so much better, even though I prefer a game like this, is that it's still like a completely out there concept.
There are mecha bunnies. Like I'm hearing you. It's just like there are mecha bunnies. Why do bunnies keep attacking us in games recently?
I know. I was just gonna say you just fought cute, adorable little bunnies, and now you're fighting mecha bunnies.
Them rabbits are up to no good. I will say that actually the controls are a little bit gnarlier here because it's a lot more based around your mouse. It's very different handling model. So if anyone watching tries out the demo, be ready for that because like it suddenly becomes a lot more about mouse aim than previously. Ooh. That invincibility shield does not last long.
So what's your favorite genre to play?
Probably action horror. Like, I have put probably over 300 hours into the Dead Space series. So, and like with Fear 1 and Fear 3, and just like, I like it because, not simply because I'm looking for something spooky, but because they tend to, whatever kind of action it's built around, they tend to, make it deeper. Like with Dead Space, it's almost Souls-like, but not quite with how you handle the combat and how you dismantle the enemies and everything. There's a lot more thought put into it, and that really gets me going. I really dig that, because I like it when a game makes me think harder without necessarily having to, as you were saying, like, having to plan out a grand strategy. So, yeah, I really like that, but it's got some of the little, like, micromanagement of your armor and everything. Oh, the invincibility shield deflects shots back.
I agree. This is very Star Fox-ish in general. The drifting and stuff doesn't look too bad on it at this level. I know you said the controls changed, but it doesn't feel like you ever really lose control of the ship too much.
Oh yeah, definitely. The scavenging bit is, I think, definitely the most unique aspect to this whole thing, is the idea that you have to run around and grab stuff between the levels instead of just like hoarding power-ups or something like that. That's interesting. I've not seen that done before. To be fair, Star Fox is weirdly a style that I'm not wrong here in saying that there's not actually been that much done with it, right? Like, even when it came to Nintendo, they just kind of haven't really done that much with what is otherwise a pretty compelling concept.
No, there was definitely like Star Fox rip-offs, but like none of them were good. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Oh no, I got you. Whoa. Yeah, my brain's still thinking in the ground section now. It's like, oh right, I can rotate. We're in full 360 degrees again. Die, 30-degree, die. Sorry, that's a voice that I still have in it. Did you ever play Dead Space 2 multiplayer? At all?
No.
It was basically humans versus necromorphs, and they threw in the extra feature like in Splinter Cell Spies versus Mercs, where if you grapple someone, they can actually hear your mic. So I kept doing a necromorph voice whenever I would be grappling someone, and just be like, "I'm going to eat you now."
And then it just stuck.
Yeah, it just kind of is there. So now I just got Smeagol just on command.
I was gonna say, which Smeagol's with cats in space is probably a little outside of my level of weird.
Very fair. That is extremely fair.
I do agree with you that the scavenging part of this definitely feels like the most unique part. In fact, I feel like when you went down to the ground, it almost felt like a different game all of a sudden.
Yeah, it really does just take on a whole new beast of an experience, and it's kind of the opposite of like standard Star Fox, where normally it would be mostly that kind of section and just the occasional all range, and here all range is the standard kind of motion, so it's almost like going from like an X-Wing or TIE Fighter light experience and then just happening to dive into something a bit more substantive. I'm not sure how the wingmate factors in that much, though. They don't seem to be doing much. Well, being a creeper is a necessity of being, a monster. Like, if you are a zombie with like tentacles coming out of your back, it's kind of if you're not being creepy, you are not pulling your weight as a zombie. This environment I'm liking a lot. This is
it keeps you pulled into the space aspect of it. I feel like the other one, to the comments in the comment section, felt very Star Fox-ish, probably because it had like those bright Nintendo colors. It felt very, very cartoony. And while this is cartoony, there's more obstacles in this one. Mm-hmm. You still see the space more in the background. I like this a lot more too. Mm. I like that it feels more obstacle driven than the other one did too. I felt like the other one was open on the ground, which may have been just the result of them trying to get you used to the controls. Now it seems like it's getting a little harder. It's like, okay, kid gloves are off now. We're going X-Wing, or rather, Star Wars first assault, or Rebel assault, what have you on this. It's like up there with that FMV madness. I really hope they have extremely cheesy voice acting when this game is finished, because that is the one thing that this really needs. Because like, with all the characters talking, I don't even care if you can hire professional voice actors, just have them meow. Just have them meow. They'd be perfect. I like how you didn't say like just get the sound of cats meowing. You're like, get voice actors to meow.
I mean, Alan Tudyk has made a career out of just making like chicken noises and stuff. So
I learned today that. So have you watched Peacemaker?
I'm going to. I have.
Apparently, Alan Tudyk's wife did the choreography for the opening sequence, which is like the best sequence ever.
I have seen that. Oh yeah.
But yeah, John Cena was on the set filming, and so Alan Tudyk went and actually stood in and helped choreograph, because they were trying to make it pretty bad, but helped choreograph it. So there's a video on Twitter of him actually doing the opening dance. It's hilarious.
Oh, please send that to me. That sounds amazing.
I will. I'll send it over to you in Discord when we're done here. It's I'll grab it now. It's pretty amazing. the one there. Yeah, there it is.
Boss fight! It seems that for the demo, the boss fight is primarily this hoppy tank. It's probably being piloted by more of those evil rabbits!
I dropped the video in the chat too. I also put it in Discord for you, but it's it's pretty amazing.
It sounds like it. It sounds like we found the eighth wonder of the world. Have you seen Resident Alien with him? Because he just has so much fun with that.
Oh yeah, he's great. I love him. He's just.
This Theora Alan Tudyk. I went to Juilliard. Meow.
There you go. He's already got. We can just loop meow throughout the game. Ooh. So is your co-captain, like your shipmate, doing anything in this?
Olivia seems to just be there to provide commentary. Like everyone ooh, friendly station. That's new.
I have a sister named Olivia, and all she seems to do is sit around and provide commentary too. So I feel for the captain of the ship.
Ooh, we actually can finally use the other upgrades. So all this stuff I've been gathering. So aside from having a bubble shield, we've got every weapon upgrade. Whoa! Now we are cooking with grease. Whew.
That was quick. That escalated very quickly.
Yes. Ooh, that said, but boy, I was curious, does barrel roll deflect things? It does not. Oh, you can just stop dead in space. So you can snipe some stuff. Ooh, we got a boost to our luck too. So there's loot drops out there too in the containers. This is like full-on ARG. This is actually a bit like what we've been talking about with Gunfire Heroes.
Yeah, I like that. I also noticed that you're firing from pretty far away. Is it locking on pretty solidly for you, or is that just...
It seems to be hitting fairly accurate. Whoa! Although that said, apparently the spawner for the precise shot is a little glitchy right now, because I can make it spin! Hashtag game dev things. I was having a similar issue when I was trying to rig up my first projectile spawner. It was like the ball at first wouldn't spawn because it kept spawning inside the gun and colliding with the gun and not actually exiting. Alright, let's see if we can make it to the end of this campaign. I think that's a nice way to cap off this stream.
Yeah, I think I'm going to actually download this when we're off of here and try it out.
Yeah, just everyone right now, if you haven't already, you need to check out Steam Next Fest. There's over 600 demos, from big things like stuff from New Blood like Gloomwood, to smaller scale stuff like this. You have got just an absolute glut of things. There's even some multiplayer stuff out there. Like there's, if you were one of the people who liked Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, there's a game that is basically just the 0G sections of that, and it's PvP.
Yeah, there's some really fun ones. I actually want to... there's a game that comes out in March that I was looking on there called Boris the Sloth. I had to go find it really quick. That looks just totally adorable. It's a nature-based puzzler. And you go between the living and the spirit realm, and you have to move objects, you can warp time, you have to solve puzzles. But it's called Boris the Sloth.
Boris the Sloth,
and
I'll check that one out.
It looks weird and quirky and completely up my alley. It's very like cartoony. You actually play as a sloth who does not move slowly, but it's just a cute little game.
All right, it's the grand finale. Swarm Galactic Boss. We have almost no health left. I'm sure everything will be fine. Large enemy incoming. You know, I did notice, while you can't see the cat, you can actually see the cat ears when it's like low to the ground. Whoa! That's a face that only a motherboard could love.
I'm really digging the environment they put inside of here for the boss.
Oh yeah, this is nice. Ooh! Ooh! We did it and then we blew up! Area cleared! Oh my gosh! We cleared the area. It was a Pyrrhic victory. Oh! So that's what your squad mate does. Half of their shields can be used to bring you back into the fight. Huh.
Oh, that's cool.
Apparently that's only Act 1 of what a full playthrough can be like. So, yeah. You can give that a whirl. And, just, yeah, I'm very impressed here. There's a lot of promise here. I can see where they need to expand upon things a bit, but yeah. Turns out you can have more than just cats in Borderlands. Now you can have cats in Star Fox.
That's your new specialty for now on moving forward.
Now I just need to figure out how to fit cats into Dead Space and Halo.
I mean, I've seen plenty. I'm sure you can mod. Well, you can mod like a cat helmet into Halo. You can put cat ears on your helmet, or
actually, yeah. Wow, yeah, actually, they have infiltrated Halo. So yeah, so now it's just a matter of someone needs to figure out how to import custom meshes into Dead Space. But
just mod a bunch of shelves and put breakables on them. Cats will just appear.
But I want to thank everyone for joining us. And James, is there anything that you would like to share with our audience?
You know, this was obviously our first pilot coming in and getting things tested out. First of all, thanks to everyone for coming and hanging out with us. We're always looking for new ideas, whether it's for this show, other shows, you know, list articles, reviews, anything for Boss Level Gamer. You can get a hold of myself or Elijah. I'm at james@bosslevelgamer.com. You know, I'd love to get feedback here from everybody. Mm-hmm. And yeah, thanks for tuning in.
All right.
Thank you, Elijah, for putting this all together. And you know, we'll continue to find these quirky games that a lot of people probably haven't heard of. You know, it's a big passion of mine. Like I said before, the indie games, the games that just aren't getting as much love, and so, you know, keep tuning in, and that's what we'll keep delivering to you guys.
Yes, and thank you so much. It warms my heart to see you out of the gate. We've already got so many viewers and got an active chat. That's just, it is fantastic. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. And, yes, keep an eye out, because next week we will be back with new oddities, a new special guest, and, God willing, significantly less games that try to break the webcams. Thank you all, and have a lovely evening.